Mr. Lewis arranges all the desks in his classroom into 6 equal groups of 4. How many desks are in his classroom? Show a picture and multiplication sentence in your work. For this question, 6 equal groups of 4. We have to show 6 equal groups of 4. So for that, let us draw 6 equal groups. So 1 group, 2 group, 3 group, 4 group, 5 group, 6 group. Equal groups of 4. So let's put 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you see here, in all the circles, there are, in all the groups, in each group, there are four tiny circles, right? So the size of size is 4 and there are 6 groups. So that is why we call it as 6 equal groups of 4. So for this 6 equal groups, the multiplication equation is 6 groups of 4 equals 24. 6 groups of 4 equals 24. So this 6 is a factor, 4 is a factor, and this is the product. So 6 is the number of groups, 4 is the size of the group, and product is the 24, which is a total. So now let us do the statement. The statement is, let's restate the last question, which is, how many desks are in his classroom? That's the last question. So let us restate that. There are 24, what that we found, desk. That was an unknown. Now we found it. It was 24. Desk in his classroom. Period. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. The next question is, what is the product in your multiplication sentence represents? So what is the product here? We know that 24 is a product, right? So the product we have to write like this. The product is 24. So the product 24. So we know that product 24. So product 24 represents, what is the product? It represents the total, right? So we have to write that product 24 represents the total number of desks in Mr. Lewis' classroom. Period. Okay. So the next question is, fill in the blanks below to complete a related division sentence. They're asking a division sentence. So for that, total, we always know that total divided by, so here 4 is the size of each group, and then we have to write the number of groups. So we know that total is 24 divided by the size of one group. The size of one group is 4. That means each group is 4. So that how many groups we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 groups, right? So let us write 6. 6. Total divided by 4 equals 6. What does the quotient in part B represents? So this is in division equation. So this is the dividend. 4 is the divisor. And 6 is the quotient. So that is how in division it is. So if you see a division equation, first one will be dividend, the next number will be divisor, and the answer or the unknown that we found, quotient will be the unknown that we found, will be the quotient. Okay, so what does a quotient in part B represent? So what is the quotient here in part B? Part B is this one. So part B, so we know that 6 is the quotient in part B. So 6 is the quotient in parts B. So let us write that down. The quotient, அப்படியே restate பண்றோம், okay? Quotient in part B represents, அப்படியே restate பண்ணிடு, represents the number of groups, right? What is that, 6? We know that it is a number of groups. So the number of groups, period. Or the number of desks, period. Draw an array that shows 9 rows of 2. Write a multiplication sentence to represent the array and circle the factor that represent the number of rows. So for that, what we have to do? We have to draw 9 rows of 2, and then we also have to write a multiplication sentence. That's it. Only two things that we have to do. So 9 rows of 6, like 1, 2 row of 6, 2. So 9 rows of 2, sorry. So 1 row of 2, 2 row of 2, 3 row of 2, 4 row of 2, 5 row of 2, 6 row of 2, 7 row of 2, 8 row of 2, 9 row of 2. So what is the multiplication equation? There should be 2 factors. The first factor is always the number of groups. How many number of groups or number of rows? This is 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5 row, 6 row, 7 row, 8 row, 9 row. So there are 9 rows or 9 groups. So 9 times. What is size of one group? Size of one group is 2. So 9 times 2 equals 18. So that is the multiplication equation. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, draw another array that shows 2 rows of 9. Write a different multiplication sentence and circle the factor that represent the size of the row. So for that, what we have to do is, we have to draw 2 rows of 9, and then we also have to do a different multiplication sentence. 2 rows of 9. How to draw 2 rows of 9? Let us draw 1 row of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, sorry. Just 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let me write. Okay, so till 9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's 1 row of 9. Okay, let me draw like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 2 rows of 9. How many groups are there? So this is one group and this is one group. So there is 2 rows of 9. So 2 rows of, that means 2 times. Size of one row is how much? 9. So 2 times 9 equals 18. So this is the multiplication equation, different multiplication equation. Let's move on to the next question. Explain the relationship between 2 arrays using the number, sentence and words. So this is one array here and this is the other array. We have to explain the relationship, how they are. We have to compare and explain the relationship, how they are same or how they are different. So we have to explain it. How to explain it? So if you see both the arrays, so this array and this array, the total is same. What is same? Total is same. Okay, total is same. Total is same, which is, okay, period. The total is 18. Okay. So both arrays have same factors, 2 and 9. Okay. So 9 times 2 and 2 times 9 is a commutative property. Commutative property. Okay. Miss Park buys a tray of apples for a class party. There are 5 rows of 5 rows of 4 red apples, and there is 1 row of 4 green apples. So, how many apples are there? So let's go through the question one more time. 5 rows of 4 red apples, and there is 1 row of 4 green apples. So let's draw 5 rows of 4 red apples. Okay, so it's for drawing 5 rows of 4 red apples. Let's draw. So that is already given, right? So this is given. So this is 1, 2. That is already given. So this is one row of red apples. Let me show you. So this is 1 row. This is the second row of 4 red apples. This is third row of 4 red apples. This is the fourth row of 4 red apples, and this is the fifth row of 4 red apples. And there is 1 row of green apples. Okay, so this is the 1 row of green apples that Miss Park buys. Okay, so if you see the total, that means if you see the total, what's the total? So what is the total? So this red apples and the green apples is a total, right? So we have to add the red apples with the green apples. So when you add the red apples with the green apples, that is a total, right? Let's do it. So let's see the red apples first. How many rows of red apples are there? 5 rows of red apples. So 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5th row. So 5 rows of red apples and 1 row of green apples will make 6 rows of 4, right? So 6 rows I just. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Altogether it is 6, because we know 5 and plus 1 is makes 6, right? And we can also check by seeing the rows. If you see the rows, and if you count the rows, it will be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. Okay, that totally 6 rows of apples. Now let us do the distributive properties. 6 times 4. In the 6 times 4 அப்படி இங்க எழுதியிருக்கோம். Okay, so 6 times 4 equals this 5 times 4 we are writing just here. Okay, so 5 times 4, and then we are writing this 1 times 4 here. Okay, so 1 times 4. What is the value of 6 times 4? We know 6 times 4 equals 6 times 4, just copy it like that from the top, from here. And then what is the value of 5 times 4? 5 times 4 is 20, plus what is the value of 1 times 4, which is 4. So 6 times 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Okay, so this is what we found. So how many apples did she bought? She bought the total. What is this total? 6 is a factor, 4 is a factor, and this is the product. What is the meaning of product? Product means the total, right? So Miss Park brought how many apples? 24 apples. Next one, let's do the next question, which is Lily brought 8 green apples for the class party. Show Lily's green apples on the picture in part A. We have to show Lily's picture apples in part A. So she's buying 8 green apples. So let us draw 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or we can draw in apples itself. Okay, you can draw like an apple itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lily is buying 8 more apples. So now let us find a different. So now the total is not 6, right? Now the total became 8. When you take everything, it is 8. So 8 times 4 equals, how many red apples? 5 times 4 red apples. And how many green apples now? Now it is not 1. So here it was 1. Now it is 3 green apples, right? So 3 times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20, we know, and then 3 times 4 is 12. So 8 times 4 equals 20 plus 12. So 8 times 4 equals 32. So that is a new one that we found. And now she has how many apples? The product is 32. So now she has 32 apples in all. Mr. Mayer's class play a game. The class earns 5 points each time they answer a question correctly. The class earns 50 points playing the game on Monday. So for that, let's draw a tape diagram for that. So the total must be, the total is they will get 50 points, okay? 50 points. So we know that one time if they answer, they're getting 5 points. Okay. So we have to count till we reach 50. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So the total is 50 points. So how many? So now we know the total, which is 50, and now we know the size of the group is also 5. So let's divide total divided by the size of the group equals, let's count number of groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many groups are there? 10 groups are there, right? So 50 total divided by the size of the group equals number of groups. And then you have to do the statement, which is what is the question? How many questions did the class answer correctly? So that's the question for that. So this is a question. How many questions did the class answer correctly? They restate the question and write the class answered 10 questions correctly. Period. Next question is Mr. Mayers uses the equation 5 times dash equals 50 to find how many questions the class answered correctly. Is this method correct? Why or why not? You should write, yes, Mr. Mayers' method is correct. 5 times 10 equals 50. Because division is an inverse of multiplication. Period. The class answered. Let's move on to the next question. The class answered 7 questions correctly on Tuesday. What is the total number of points the class earned on both days? So they have answered 7 questions correctly. So they have answered 7 questions. Each question have 5 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have answered 7 questions correctly. So the total must be 35. So they got 35 points for this. So 7 times 5. How many groups are there? 7 groups of 5. So 7 times 5 equals 35. What we have to do is, so the new points is 35. The old point is 50. So when we add it, we get 50 plus 35. 50 plus 35 is 6, 7, 85. So 85. So new points earned, the class earned, the total number of, in a question like it, in the question they have asked, The question they have asked, total number of points a class earned on both days. And then we have to write the total number of, just restate it like that, number of points the class earned both days is 85. Is 85. The total number of 85 points. Period. Okay.